Hey everyone, please subscribe. Thanks. Hey, here's a virtual high five for you, okay? And I know you deserve it, and I think I deserve it too. You know, we need to celebrate more of what we have accomplished and quit worrying about what we haven't accomplished and kind of get rid of this in the past. And I think that's really important. Now, today I'm going to read a couple letters, a couple really cool letters, and answer a couple questions. So don't go anywhere, okay? I'm Minivan Lee, and I live in my minivan, and I have for 7 years. Oh my gosh, yes. So, 7 years. So, and this is my studio. It's early morning, and I'm just a little chatty, so I want to talk to you a little bit, okay? So let's get going with the Minivan Lee show, shall we? Okay? I have a really cool letter here, and I want to read this from the Noonie 50. I am 63 and part-time in my van. I feel so, she accented so, I feel so much safer in my van. I have mentioned this so many times to people in my videos that I feel safer too. I actually feel safer because I know what's going on around me. But wait, she says the same thing. I live in a great neighborhood, but I'm legally deaf and my house is large. When I'm in my van, there are only 3 locked doors. Anyone can try to get in. And if anyone tries, it does. It shakes the van. Even somebody leaning, like they'll get out of their car, they're going to go into the store. And somebody will they won't know I'm in here because you can't see in here. But they'll just sort of lean in my car. It really does shake the car. Oh my gosh. So she says, I call it my cocoon. I have been through nasty weather and pitch dark nights solo and off grid. I just love it. And normally I'm a scaredy cat. You know, a lot of us females, we're kind of taught that in a way, that people are out to get us. And in some cases, they're right. Females aren't as strong. So we have to kind of walk lightly throughout the world most of our lives. Okay. But so it can make us sort of scaredy cats out here. But I'll tell you, I feel so cozy in my van. Thank you for that. The Noonie. I love that. And sign language was my language in college. I don't remember a lot, but I do this as hello because this is something else, you know, so you don't go hi, you know, this is, yeah. And then I do remember when you're clapping, because you can't hear it, so you go like that. I do remember, I guess, a lot, you know. I'm hearing, I speak. This means I'm hearing. This means I'm deaf. Yeah, I remember. I guess if I really thought about it, I would remember. Yeah, yes, I would. So, well, I'm glad that you watch my videos. Yes. And so you are more in tune with the shaking of the van if you're legally deaf and you can't hear somebody getting in, but you're going to feel it. And that is where a lot of your safety comes from. Yeah, because you can't feel the house shake unless it's bad weather, right? Here's a letter. I got a comment from Deb Dominique. And it was in regards to the last video I put up about parking. People are so fearful of parking, the overnight night parking. And she says, don't the neighbors see you putting up the shades? Well, this was in regards to, I think she means because I like to do neighborhood parking. Well, and I've talked about this quite a bit, but in response, I thought, well, unless they're just looking out their windows, how many of you look out your windows, your front windows and your street all the time? Unless remember Alice Kravitz on Bewitched? She was always looking out the windows, right? I think she was like the original Karen, so to speak. She was always looking out and looking and seeing what everybody else was doing. I guess you would call her nosy. Well, don't the neighbors see you putting up the shades? Well, they would have to be looking out their window all the time. And maybe somebody catches it. And actually, then I said, but really, who cares? Right? Who really cares? Well, I will say that in regards to that, okay, thank you for that comment, really, Deb. But as a nomad, I'm like, well, if you own a house, that doesn't mean you own the public street in front of the house. And I think a lot of homeowners do feel very, they feel like an ownership of that street there. But it is a public street. And a lot of people say, well, there are city ordinances. Well, guess what? Just having a city ordinance does not mean that that they can continue with that, because I did mention in San Diego. Now, San Diego's spending millions and millions of dollars in restitution for the people that they did fine, because they deemed it was cruelty. You can have an ordinance where you can't park somewhere if you're living in your van. And the real question was, can you sleep in your car? Well, if you're homeless and you don't have any place to sleep, I did a whole video on this, so I really won't go into this, because I could really talk about this. But if it's a city ordinance, I mean, I guess they can ask you to leave, but it is a public street. And the homeowner does not own that. And so if they see me putting up shades, oh well, right? But the chances of them looking out right at that moment when I'm putting up the shades. And the next thing I'm going to say is that I tell y'all, don't park in front of somebody's house. I mean, just don't do it. I mean, there might be a house on the other side and they may see you, but don't park right in front of somebody's house. I say there's a house here and a house here, then park here, right? And that way, if they want to park in front of their house, they have the option to do that. You're not blocking the front of their house. And it does kind of, I mean, I lived in a house, so I understand. But it can be unnerving when somebody's parked right in front of your house. You keep thinking, well, are they going to come in? Who is that? And it's not so much scary, but it is kind of like, it does make you go, things that make you go, who is that person? And then they're there all night long. So don't park right directly in front of somebody's front door. Okay, don't do that, because it's going to unnerve them, and you don't want to make people nervous. Now, I did have another comment on that, is that she said she just was finished watching my video about the parking, and she said that it was during the day, she was out working in the yard, and some car, she said it was like a muscle car, and pulled into her driveway, and that alerted her, and then he just backed up and then parked. Okay, so she said it made her nervous, and she just kept watching. Well, I guess then he came out, and then he got back in his car, and so she said that it really scared her. But this was during the day, right? So, I don't know. It's like, I replied, there are all kinds of reasons why he may have been parked there. And he just wanted to get turned around. He wanted to pull in and then pull out. Maybe he had to check Google Maps, right? Maybe he was going to get a phone call and he wanted to park somewhere so that he wouldn't be talking while he's driving, because that can be very distracting and you can get in an accident. And then another thing is that maybe he had to check on something. You know, maybe he just wanted to park. Maybe he felt like he wanted to get something together, get some notes together, something on his phone. So you don't know the reason why, but we all need to quit being so nervous and anxious about things. Not everybody's out to get us. Okay? And not, a lot of people do have really good intentions. There's a few that don't, but this is during the day. So just know that the street in front of your house, whether you're renting or owning, is really not yours. It really belongs to the public, and taxes are being paid. Now, as a nomad, I do pay taxes, because every time I buy gas, I'm paying big time taxes. And when I'm in a city, I'm paying taxes when I shop, and I'm spreading my money around in restaurants, shops, buying gas, things like that. Yeah. So I am paying taxes. And people do have a right on a public street to park. So there's my explanation on that. Don't the neighbors see you putting up the shades? It takes 10 seconds. So if they're looking out right at that 10 seconds, okay. But so what? I'm putting up my shades. Okay? And I'm on a street. Okay? There you go. I've talked about this subject before, and I have a lot of new subscribers and viewers. So, hey, thank you. Make sure you're subscribed, okay? Hit that button. And even if you've been with me a while, look down there. Because YouTube is really unsubscribing a lot of people. A lot of you tell me, say, every time I get on, I'm unsubscribed, and I keep subscribing. So, this is from Cynthia Williamson. What do you use for an address in order to get your Social Security check or whatever income you have if you live in a car and don't have a home? Okay, Cynthia, first of all, I don't get a Social Security check. It goes right into my bank. I think, is there anybody that still gets a Social Security check? I don't think so. I think they pretty much all go into the bank, just direct deposit, which I have everything, all of my bills, all of them are taken out of my account in my bank. So I want to every month look at, and they're going to do it anyways through my bank. So I just have direct automatic payment, right? It makes life so much easier. And because I do travel, I don't run anywhere and then pay my bill, right? But what do you use for an address? Okay, if you live in a car and don't have a home. Well, you're new to this lifestyle, and I get it. And a lot of people do. They're like, what is this living in a car thing? What's going on here? Yeah, what's happening? Why? Well, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of us who live in vehicles, right? Some of us did it because we want to, and some of us did it because we have to. Okay, I did it because I wanted to. I knew about the lifestyle, and I saw Bob Wells years ago. I was introduced to him via his YouTube channel. So I watched, and I thought, that's the life for me, right? Oh yeah, sort of like a Popeye thing, yeah. Well, there are so many of us out here, and it's not really a new thing going on. It's been going on for a while. And then now there's so many. And some of you have been doing this for years, even before Bob Wells figured it out. You were doing it. So, yeah. My parents even did it. They had a fifth wheel. And this was years ago, before Bob Wells even wanted to do it. Okay. What do we do with an address? I mean, you have to have an address, right? I mean, there are homeless people that don't have an address. They don't. And they're sort of under the radar. So if you're doing this and you want to have an address, there are options. For me, my daughter handles my mail. I use her address. And I did live there for a year. I use her address. Yeah, they have no problem with it. And I trust her to handle my mail correctly. She doesn't throw important things away. She will send me a picture of something that she's unsure of. She doesn't do that very often, because most everything is online. If Social Security has something to tell me, they'll email me, right? If my bank has something to tell me, they'll message me and let me know. What else would be, getting my license and my car registration. I mean, they email me when it's time, and they let me know. And when it comes to a license, I do have to go back I think I have to go back every 4 years, because guess what? My daughter lives in Ohio. So guess what? I have Ohio license plates. Right. I follow the laws of Ohio because she lives in Ohio. And to even zoom it in, excuse me, I follow the laws of the county that she lives in. That means, do I have to get emissions when I register my car? when I, get re-register and get the little sticker for my license plate? Do I have to have emissions, things like that? Well, I don't, thank goodness, because I would have to drive back to Ohio. But I will say for my driver's license, next summer, I do have to go back there and get, because I think they want to test my eyes, because I'm older, right? They want to test my eyes. Okay, so I got to do that. But of course you have to have an address. Now, you can use a family member like I did, or you can use, they're called mail forwarding companies. And I do know for fact that South Dakota, you can go there and within one day you become a resident. And I'm not even gonna, this video isn't about that, but there are videos about that. And maybe one I will do that just talks about South Dakota. And don't people still use that, right? Now, I know my friend Max, he had South Dakota, but he kind of got tired of driving all the way to South Dakota. It's almost, it's pretty far, especially when you spend most of your time in Arizona. So there is a system that you can use to, and I'll leave the link for that, because my ex-partner, he got his residence in Arizona. Now, Max did it too. And a lot of people are doing that for Arizona. So they don't, nomads spend so much time in Arizona. You might as well have your, all of your domicile right there. So you don't have to keep traveling. I would go back to Ohio, or I would have to go to South Dakota. Or I know Bob Wells uses in Nevada, Pahrump. I think it's Pahrump. He uses one there, and he talks all about that. It's pretty easy to use. You want to go with a state that has, if you really are, if you don't have family, you want to pick one that has good taxes. You don't have state tax or things like that. There are a lot of benefits, but you have to follow the laws of what the state has, and that includes, your will, your voting, your car registration, just state tax, things like that. When you have your domicile anywhere, you have to follow those laws, right? That's what a domicile is, okay? So that's how nomads get their mail. They use a mail forwarding. Now, you can say, well, why don't you just get a P.O. box? No. The government is very strict about that now. That might have been okay maybe 15 years ago, but they have every address. Sort of like Google Maps. They have every street mapped out. Every address has probably like a code on it or something. If you try to use your home address as like if you go to the post office or UPS store and get a P.O. box number, you can get mail there, but you can't use it as your domicile. You can't, if you go to get your driver's license, they'll say, well, what is your address? And you give out that, they'll go, that's not a residential address. That's not a domicile. So just to warn you, and I'm not sure what constitutes this or that you can use this or use that. But let me tell you, you can't, I guarantee, I've had some of you say, oh no, you can use your P.O. box. No, no, you can't. No, you can't. Not a regular P.O. box number. You can't use that. Now, I could do a more recent video, maybe when I meet up with Max. And he, probably in July, I'll meet up with him. And I think I'll do another video on that, and I'll interview him. And he will tell you and me in a video, and it'll be a more recent one. And then you get to see Max again, right? On how he did it. And so that's a given. I'm going to do that. I'll let Max know that, Max, we're going to do this, okay? Because he did it. It's so easy. Oh my gosh. If you want to stay in Arizona, and actually coming up here, I might do it myself. That way I don't have to keep going to Ohio. But here's the thing. When you do use for your mail, like using BCM or even in Pahrump or even in South Dakota, there's a fee for the mail. There is a fee. And so I might be actually saving more money, maybe just fly to Ohio, come this winter or come next summer to get my license. Just fly there, see everybody, and then get my license and then fly back. Because when you get mail, you do pay a fee every single month, or you pay a fee for the year. But every time you have mail and you need to get it, or they send you something about it, you do pay a little bit of a charge here and there. So, well, I hope that you enjoyed this. There's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right? But I do get your questions, and I love your questions. If you have questions, please, in comments, ask me anything, even, well, not too personal, but you can ask me personal questions if you want to know about me. I like to talk about many things. Now, just 2 videos ago, I talked about the face and the castor oil, because so many of you asked me, how do you have such glowing skin, or why does your skin look so good? I'm 71. I'm 2 weeks away. I'm not even 2 weeks. I'm 1 week away from being 71. And so, which reminds me, if you want to give me a birthday gift, I know. If you want to give me a little gift, $5, $10, go to Minivan Lee. And even if you want to support me, minivanlee.com, and click on gifts. And then I have many amounts. And $5, $10, whatever. If you have more, okay. I've gotten some really wonderful gifts from you the past few months. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And it's not uncommon to support a YouTube creator. And I'm just a little fish in a big pond, so I don't make a lot of money off my videos. So, if you don't want to support me, it's okay. It's okay. But I'm just letting you know, if you do, it's there. And I do have my birthday coming up, right? I think 71 is a really cool number. I don't know why. Where does 71? Oh, 71. Yeah. That was the year I graduated from high school. Well, of course that's a good number. Because I'm thinking, why is 71 so cool? Yes, I graduated from high school in 71. So, yay, yeah. No, I know. I have a college degree too. So, okay, enough of this jocularity, Who said that? Father Mulcahy, jocularity. Yeah, remember that on MASH? That's still a good show. It really is. They were all so young then. Ellen Alda, yeah, he's, so many of these actors and actresses that were with us, if you're older like me, but I know a lot of you are younger, that watch me now all over the world, all over. So there was a show, in case you didn't know, called MASH. It was about a MASH unit, a medical unit in the Korean War, right? So in South Korea. And MASH was a really good show. So, and so's this. There's a Minivan Lee show, and it's a really good show too, right? I know. Okay, you guys, I love you. Just kind of chatty this morning, a little bit of coffee. I know I didn't offer you any, but cheers anyways. Maybe you're drinking your own coffee or your tea or whatever. Hey, stay away from the cola and the sodas, okay? It's just loaded with sugar. It's not going to make you feel good, okay? Okay, till tomorrow, everybody. Remember, minivanlee.com if you want to give me a gift or a birthday gift. And let's see, I got the book on Amazon, How to Live in a Minivan, the Minivan Lee Way. And that's it. I'm going to see you tomorrow. I think I might do some more letters. You have such good questions. And it really brings up good subjects that I can talk about and that we can discuss together, okay? Bye. Leave comments. You can do, see, I'm talking here, but this is your way of talking back. You can talk back to me. I'll let you, okay? Comments. Bye.